Hello and welcome to my video where I'm going to kind of continue the series I just did with the four major regions where I covered, each region, the teams that didn't make the playoffs, identified who needed to be replaced on the roster to maybe make the playoffs next split in summer, and how this relates. The LCS Proving Grounds video is that I went into the Proving Grounds, amateur teams, the college teams, and try to identify some players that maybe deserve a shot at an academy slot, because some teams really do not have options in the LCS at the academy level that make sense. Especially older options. I mean, I think of IMT. I don't know how IMT gets better at AD carry or jungle. Chad was okay in academy and then was awful in his one LCS game, but it was one LCS game, so you got to take that for what you will. But I think that a lot of the teams that are struggling in the LCS don't invest into North American talent, and I understand that whole deal. We go over this every single year, multiple times every year. Can NA make a good team? And in actuality, I don't know if they really will ever do that. But an all NA team anyways. But when you look at Proving Grounds, you have to say to yourself, are there better options here? And I think there were a few options. Some players on this list I don't think can play yet. They're too young. But it's a good thing, to look to the future and see that maybe we have potential in some areas. I don't even have Sniper on here in top, and people have been awaiting Sniper for a while, but he struggled, in my opinion, for Proving Grounds. And I will say that I did not watch any game, so it's really hard to say someone struggled or not. I'm just looking at pure stats, and with that, you have to, understand that I did only look at stats. I'm going to acknowledge that, and, you can look at it closer if you want to. But I thought that top lane, there were a couple good options on wildcard aces, I believe. Zamudo played a very, very solid qualifier. These stats are all from the qualifiers, by the way, not the actual Proving Grounds where the teams played academy teams in the LCS academy teams, and the whole Proving Grounds, actual tournament that they do. I didn't do that because some of these teams were one and dones, and they only played a couple games. It's hard to really compare a player from an academy roster to a player that only played a couple games, maybe had one bad series. It's hard to really say, is that player awful or not off of one series. Whereas in this case, some teams played 14 games, some teams played 4. Wild card, Zamudo was solid, top ranked top laner. He's of age to play. I think that, if there was a team that might want to look at top lane investment, I think he is an option. Mabud, for Winthrop University, very good top laner. I think he's actually probably the best pure top laner in the tournament. In the qualifier. His CS numbers were the top in the qualifier. He built leads in lane, led to gold leads for himself, and advantages. Whereas Zamudo was more of a team playing top laner. High kill participation, high gold. He ended up with high gold share and high kill share because he participated in fights and made things happen. Jungle, Trickster. Trickster was very, very good. A solid all-around jungler, something that makes me, feel like he's reliable on a lot of different champions and a lot of different situations. I think that's the type of player you should want on your academy roster. Sure, the highs aren't that high, but the lows won't be that low, and he is conducive to whatever you want to play. I don't feel like there's anything out of his stats that kind of stuck out as a problem. Griffin, prime example of someone too young to play right now. I don't believe 16-year-olds are allowed to play. He's too young, but he is by far the best jungler in the tournament. No holding back. He is really, really, really good. Um, Fnatic, he has played with FlyQuest before, and I believe he deserves another look in Academy. He played solid in this qualifier, and I believe that there are worse Academy junglers than him. And he's playing for 100 Thieves next, so he is owned by 100 Thieves in a way. But I think that if there's an opportunity, there's no excuse for why he can't see one. And be able to play. Top mid laner. APA was the best amateur mid laner. Tuesday was actually the best performing, but Tuesday is long past his prime. I think, well, not long past prime. He's still under 25 years old, but he by this point, the chances of coming back and getting an LCS slot, I don't think are very high when you have young players coming up. So APA, 20-year-old, he was best all-around amateur in the games. EG's third-tier team prodigies, where Danny came from, and Jojo Pune, Leo, Lezero, I don't think he's just Leo. He is a great laner, similar to the way I feel about my bud in top lane. Solo lane, he is solid. He struggles outside of that, but when it comes to laning, he was a great laner in this tournament. And Toasty, another young player that looked good for Wildcard Aces. I don't know his exact age, but I think he has potential to there are a lot of good mid laners, but he should be given some sort of opportunity. Bot lane, no team, Scooped and Jishka. That bot lane for no team was very good, very solid. Scooped, I don't know his age, so I don't know if he's eligible to play. I think he was on the same team as Griffin. So Griffin being a kid, I don't know if Scooped is a kid. Jishuka is not. So there's a possibility that Scooped is of age to play. But he was definitely the best AD in the tournament. He didn't look like he had any weaknesses based on the stats. He CS decent. He participated in kills. He participated in fights and didn't die a lot, which is important. And lastly, I think Sword, similar to Fnatic, and I think they have Insanity in mid lane on that team. There's 100 Thieves are stacked right now in terms of depth. Sword is swapping from mid to support this past, year or so, and I think he should be put back into Academy as a support. Somebody should give him a run. He played well in this tournament, and I think that honestly there are teams with support problems, and they should be, a lot of older supports too, where these guys should be given an opportunity, a longer look. It's going into summer. I don't know how these Academy teams really performed in spring. Maybe there isn't a spot for them, but a lot of these LCS rosters don't have the depth to replace their problem pieces. Immortals just being a prime example. CLG is going to try it out. We'll see how CLG does in replacing their 3 of 5 players, at least in my opinion, that need to be replaced to get better. But I think honestly, looking at this, like what does the average LCS fan think about Proving Grounds? Like what do you think? Should your takeaway be from this? I think we have some really solid players coming up still. Jungle is definitely our best position. I think that their EG is doing a fabulous job continuing to bring in talent, young talent, and that they should be commended for that. I think 100 Thieves should be commended for having a team at this level. Immortals as well, even though Immortals, like I said, aren't utilizing their depth the way they should. At least they're investing into it, which is a big deal. I think that that's something that we need to really appreciate, especially after listening to Double Lift's podcast with Joe Marsh and LS. You listen to how Korea approaches League of Legends, that In 8th grade, you can drop out of school to go play video games if you can make a living for your family. So we are not nowhere near that level, and that honestly kind of boggles our mind. Like, really, is that something that's even a thing that is that a good thing? You know, really, is that a good thing? For League of Legends, it's a good thing. For esports, it's a good thing. From Korea's perspective, like, they have the best teams, the best players, but from an educational standpoint, are really looking at it like, oh, geez, well, in 8th grade, you're dropping out. Is that okay? You know, can we have 8th grade dropouts trying to play video games? And if they fail, what do we do? Whereas in Korea, I mean, I don't know what happens to the guys that don't make it. I mean, there's got to be quite a few of them. The only thing I could kind of compare it to is probably hockey. Because in hockey, ice hockey, you know, you'll see 15, 16-year-olds playing junior hockey and playing a lot of it, moving away from home. Baseball doesn't happen as often, and basketball really doesn't happen, and football doesn't really happen. I mean, you play your season, and maybe in some areas in basketball you play multiple, seasons of the year, as in, like, quarters, where football, maybe some people have spring ball, but mostly only fall ball. Where hockey players will move away, be drafted and move away to a junior team, I mean, arguably all the way across the world at 16 years old, and in some cases in Canada, 15. So it's the only kind of example I could think of in traditional sports that even compares to what Korea is doing in League of Legends and esports. It's hard to keep up with. But like I said, how it kind of relates to this, I guess, circling back, I am proud. I'm not proud, but I'm, give a pat on the back to EG for doing well, continuing to find good talent. Give 100 Thieves credit. They have 3 teams. And then Immortals as well. I mean, they are investing in trying to make their team better, although they're doing it the wrong way. They're picking the wrong players, but at least they are attempting something. So if you stuck through this whole entire video and got to this point, give it a like, subscribe if you enjoy this content, comment down below if you have opinions of your own. If you watched Proving Grounds, if you think that, there are other players that performed really well, that stats may not, give them, the light they deserve. I mean, there is a possibility that, a guy like Zamudo might have gotten boosted by a jungler or, something of the sort. Like, that's a good example, because his laning numbers weren't that great. So, but thank you for watching this video. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe if you have any takes of your own. Tomorrow, my League of Legends roundup will be back because I do have games to cover tomorrow, which is good. I don't have to come up with random things to talk about until Monday. So thank you for watching this video, and I hope you come back for more content.